What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. And today is a little bit of a special day on the NFL calendar. It's not necessarily a massive one, but it does represent a little bit of a stopping point in the offseason where, as a football team, you can kind of understand what you're getting into coming forward. So we got this NFL.com article from November, early November. I'm going to go through it real quick here. So we're going to understand what we're looking at today, why today is significant, and then we're going to briefly take a look at the significant data that comes from this. So basically, today is the 24th of January, which is the final day where underclassmen in college football can declare for the 2025 draft. So if you're a player who, under totally normal, flat circumstances, would be returning to college in 2025, today is the last day where you could have petitioned for moving to the NFL draft ahead of time, as many players do. I think we all know that in college football, many players, often the best players, do not finish their collegiate careers. They declare early. They come out early, not as much as they used to because of the NIL money, but they do come out early now. And today's significant because it was the last opportunity these players had to choose to come out. Now, in truth, the actual deadline for most players was way back on January 6th. And there was also another deadline on January 15th. So today was the deadline for underclassmen that participated in the championship game to submit their eligibility. So if you were on Notre Dame or you were on Ohio State, you could have held back your decision until today. But today's the last day you can make it. We will supposedly have a full list tomorrow, and then players will have a few days to revoke their choice and go back to college for 2025 if they want to. So it's not totally finalized yet, but at this point, anyone that hasn't submitted their name cannot. And for a vast majority of players, that deadline already passed for them. Like, there was a early soft deadline of Monday, January 6th, and then there was a hard deadline at January 15th. And there is also a deadline to opt out of the draft coming up in February, but that one very rarely gets exercised to my knowledge, and that's a pretty uncommon circumstance. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm just worried about this main thing. So as this data comes out, we will be able to get a pretty firm idea of who the Seahawks will be able to draft and who they will not be able to draft. And this has become a little bit more compelling recently because it's become far more common for players to stay back in college football because they can still make money. And because the pool of talent in each draft is diluted by NIL money, there's more incentive to stay back until you're a high pick because it's more likely you'll be a higher pick because more players are staying back. In the old days, even if you were going to be like a sixth round pick, you kind of wanted to rush to the NFL sometimes because you got to start making money. And even the money you make as a sixth round pick is significant for most of these people. And you can, if you play well, you can make big bucks later. So I think that I think that the NIL has created a situation where you don't have as many super stacked draft classes. I think they're at least going to be less common. So this is noteworthy. And every year since NIL money has kicked in, it's felt like you've seen several big-time players that under normal circumstances would have declared every day and twice on Sunday. They stay back. Like, I was shocked that Cam Ward stayed back last year. I thought he was going to declare and be a third-round pick for sure. He bet on himself. Now he's probably going to be a top 10 pick at least. Can't imagine him getting out of the top 10. But anyway, if you go over to 24/7 Sports, they posted this article a couple of days ago, so it's not completely up to date, but they actually listed out every single underclassman that has declared for the 2025 draft. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but You can see there are some very important, very big, very interesting names. Probably some future Seahawks here. Definitely some guys just, again, I'm just scrolling through these names, but you can read them on your screen. You will probably find at least a few guys that, if you're a Seahawks fan that pays attention to draft stuff, you probably have had some interest in. And if you haven't yet, you probably will by the time we get there, because these are some of the better players. There are quite a few guys who I fully expect to be a first-round pick in this group. You might even see a scenario where more than half of the first round is made up of these guys. And you're also going to notice the absence of some guys who you were maybe wondering would they come out or not. So between this and the non-underclassmen, which are of course the players who were going to come out regardless, you're building a pretty decent draft class up. I don't think it's a great one, but it's a pretty good one. And that is basically the significance of today. We are putting together, we may not know for sure until tomorrow, but we are basically learning everybody who we're going to be able to choose from on the draft. And that's information that we need. Now, we have plenty of time. Free agency isn't here yet. We're not even close to free agency. The season's not even over yet. We still have to play the Super Bowl. We still have to play the conference championship games. But this will help us understand which players to look at. So hopefully, with this information, we will be able to not spend time and energy looking at players that haven't declared. So if you have a player out there like Drew Alar, who a lot of people expected to declare for the draft but ultimately decided not to, you don't have to look at him right now. You can look at him next year. You can see what's up with him in 2026, this draft, when he almost certainly will come out. So that is what the what's going on today. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know if any names stand out to you. Let me know if there's anything out there that you thought was going to happen that maybe didn't. Like, I'm sure there are going to be some people disappointed that X, Y, and Z didn't declare, but this is the world we live in right now. In the old days, pretty much every player in all of college football just wanted to count down the minutes to where they were NFL players. It didn't matter if they got undrafted. They just wanted to make NFL money, show what they could do, and try to earn that second or third contract down the line. Now, it's a little bit different. Now you can actually hone your craft a little bit at the college level. And that's not a bad thing, but it does create different considerations for a draft. Okay, so I'm going to go and get out of here. I'm sure I'll have more to say either later today or tomorrow, depending on what happens the rest of today. Obviously, when things are quiet, but things can get loud very quickly when you're a fan of an NFL team in an off season. Okay, so everyone have a good rest of your day. Catch you on Twitch maybe. Might make another video later today, might not. We'll find out. And yeah, go Hawks. And that is what is going on today. That's the deadline that we've hit. That's the significance of today's date. We're going to basically know everything we need to know about who is going to the draft when this is over. We'll probably find out everything officially tomorrow.